In the episode Satisfaction of the TV series Young Justice, we see the Young Justice team's grotto, which is a shrine to their fallen heroes who died in the line of duty. These heroes are, in no particular order, Robin, the Jason Todd version, Blue Beetle, the Ted Kord version, Tula, and Artemis, who, as we all know, wasn't actually dead, but had faked her death to go undercover to investigate the light.
Welcome back. I don't hear her heartbeat. I got you. Hang on. I take it our ruse was successful.
Almost too successful. The team and the league are in mourning. They may never forgive us.
But although we see these shrines, we don't actually see how all of them died, and this video is going to explain their deaths. First, there is Jason Todd, who has no actual appearance in either the Young Justice TV series or the comics, apart from this holographic shrine. Now, everything I'm going to say is from the other comics Jason Todd is in, but since the Young Justice show often makes changes in their comic book adaptations, I must say that this is purely speculation, but most likely true. After Dick Grayson grew up and decided to stop being Robin and became Nightwing, Batman took on a new partner who used the same codename Robin. This Robin was Jason Todd.
Jason, get on out here or I'm going on patrol without you. Come on, would've.
Gotcha!
Would've, if I hadn't seen you slip behind the computer banks 3 minutes ago.
Nah, I got you.
Batman found Jason while he was removing and stealing the wheels off of the parked Batmobile, which Batman couldn't believe and is incredibly ballsy. Jason was a troubled kid who was living on the street and had been in juvie, but Batman saw that he had incredible potential inside of him.
Yes, different than Dick in so many ways, but still so full of potential and power. But I knew even from the beginning he was dangerous. If I hadn't made him into Robin, he would have grown to do wrong.
So, Batman adopted Jason Todd in much the same way as he had adopted Dick Grayson and trained him to fight crime as Robin.
We don't need this. What's green and purple, but covered in red and yellow? You! When I land on your sorry butt!
Unfortunately, during a mission, Jason was abducted by the Joker, who tortured and beat him, and then afterwards murdered him.
Hey, I never asked. What's the big secret? Who is the big bad bat? His name. Tell me.
Of course, sir. It's...
Never could stand a tattletale. That's why I like to work alone. No one to spoil the punchline. You should try it sometime. After all, you've seen what happens when you drag your friends into this crazy little game of ours.
One thing I have to say about Jason Todd's death is that it was done because fans wanted it. The comic book owners asked fans to vote in on whether to kill Robin or to let Robin live, and the fans voted for Robin's death, which, when you think about it, is kind of messed up. Ted Kord, the Blue Beetle. Now, Ted Kord was never in the Young Justice team in the comics. He was a member of the Justice League. But since he is in the Young Justice Grotto and all the other shrines there are for members who are in the Young Justice team, it does make sense that Ted Kord was a part of the team as well, though we don't know this for sure. Ted Kord was a brilliant scientist and owner of Kord Industries. He inherited the Blue Beetle scarab from the former Blue Beetle, Dan Garrett, but Ted Kord didn't use the scarab, i.e. attach it to his spine and use the Blue Beetle armor. He didn't use it because he realized it was alien technology and didn't want it in his body because he didn't know what it would do to him or how it would affect his mind. I should say that in some versions of the comics and in other TV series, the reason that he doesn't use the scarab is not because he knows it's alien technology, but because he can't get it to work for him.
And you just gave the scarab to him?
I loaned it to him. I thought maybe he could get it to work for me. I mean, he seemed so mild-mannered. No worries, buddy. It's my mess. I'll clean it up. I said you could borrow it. Borrow.
However, it seems that in the Young Justice universe, that isn't a factor, and the scarab will just latch on to the first person it gets. Now, when the Light and the Reach did become partners, the Reach must have told the Light about the Scarab and that they wanted it to be used by a human hero so that they could manipulate that Blue Beetle and use them to help with their invasion plan.
You've begun handling situations that once upon a time were a job for Superman.
Hey, if the Justice League's too busy, I'm happy to pick up the slack.
Why am I still waving? I look like an idiot! Scarab, get us out of there! The Reach desires the crowd's adulation, and we serve the Reach.
So Deathstroke and Sportsmaster were sent to retrieve the Scarab that was at Cord Industries. Ted was there as well and fought them and managed to stop them from acquiring the Scarab, but during this fight he was unfortunately killed.
Yeah, I know it's almost curfew, Mom, but I'm practically home. I'm taking a shortcut across the Cord parking lot now. Hasta pronto.
And that is how he died. Finally, there is Tula. Now, unlike Robin and Blue Beetle, we do actually see her death, though not in the comics or in the TV series, but in the Young Justice video game, Young Justice Legacy. Which, to be honest, is kind of a terrible game. The gameplay is a bit of a button basher, and the graphics are atrocious, most likely because it was rushed into production, so I wouldn't really recommend playing it. The game is set between Season 1 and Season 2 of Young Justice. In the video game, the Light free an imprisoned water being with godlike powers who is going to destroy most of the world, and the only way to stop it is with magic. Now at this point in the Young Justice timeline, Tula is actually a member of the team, and she uses her water sorcery to imprison the being once more, but as part of this ritual, Tula has to sacrifice her own life.
Aqua Bro, what are you doing? Tula, stop!
Marduk became known as the God of Gods, but the tablet was not the only thing he had to sacrifice in order to defeat Tiamat.
What do you mean?
He was inducted into the Babylonian Pantheon posthumously. He had to sacrifice himself.
No, Tula, you can't!
It is the only way. Goodbye, my friends. I love you, God.
Now this death has a huge effect on the Young Justice universe, as after this, both Kid Flash and Artemis decided to retire from the hero world, most likely influenced by Tula's death and the harsh realities of life that he illuminated.
Team, I know you're all grieving, but remember you saved billions of lives today. Dr. Sandsmark is safe, and rescue efforts are underway across the globe. With Tiamat dormant once again, the world is no longer threatened. We recovered the statue fragments from Marduk's temple, and we will destroy them.
Yeah. Tell that to Tula. Tell that to Garth.
Every member knows the risks, Artemis. It is not the first loss we have suffered, nor will it be the last.
And it also devastates Aqualad, who was in love with Tula, even though she was dating his best friend Garth and not him.
Me first. Tell me something you haven't told anyone else. Tell me who broke your heart.
Tula. The girl I love chose my best friend Garth over me, while my best friend on the surface world aims an arrow at my chest.
Now, after her death, Aqualad decides he needs a break and he leaves the team and leaves Nightwing in command of it. And this is what eventually leads him to go undercover as a traitor to investigate the Light and get justice for Tula's death, which is one of the main plot points of Season 2.
My friend, years ago I said you were born to lead this team, and that I would only accept the burden as leader until you were ready to lift it from my shoulders. Now is that time. I have questions that I must answer on my own. I do not know where this journey will take me, only that I must take it. Lead well, and do not forget to make time for those you hold dear. Until we meet again.
And that is the deaths of the Young Justice members. Do you agree with everything I've said, or do you think the deaths may have occurred differently? Do you think Jason Todd's death would be the same as the comics, or that the writers would have changed it for the series? Or do you agree that Ted was a member of Young Justice, or do you think he wasn't? Be sure to let us know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment.